That's all I hear. Turn on television. Right? COVID, 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 COVID. A plane goes down. 500 people dead. They don't talk about it. COVID, 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 COVID. By the way, on November 4th, you won't hear about it anymore. It's true. COVID! COVID! Please don't go and vote. COVID. Please do not, under any circumstances.
Hey, welcome everybody to the first ever episode of Clear as Mud. So this is a new podcast that I'm doing. My name is Logan Bayshore, and today we'll be talking about masks and face coverings and going over if it really is an effective choice to protect you against the COVID-19 pandemic. So throughout this podcast today, we're going to talk about both sides, those who support the idea of using a face covering and those who oppose it. Now, I want to explain a little bit about some of the conflicting point of views. Reason number one is that some people have made claims that using a mask really is not that effective, and here is why. They say that people touch their face more often. Most often this occurs when people are either adjusting their face mask to fit more comfortably, or when they are removing or putting on their face coverings. Reason number two claims that depending on the type of face mask that you use, it could filter things differently. They claim that if you are not using a brand new N95 mask, then you are really not protecting yourself effectively. And lastly, for reason number three, it is being used as a tool to control. This is what some people are calling sheeple. That is actually a term that I was not familiar with myself. And after researching, I came to learn that the term sheeple is referring to people who follow others blindly, like a sheep to a shepherd, aka sheeple. Enough about sheep though. Let's take a look at why using a face mask has been considered effective in preventing the spread of COVID-19. Reason number one is that it prevents asymptomatic spreaders from becoming super spreaders. An asymptomatic spreader are those who have contracted the coronavirus, but are they who have little to no symptoms or effects, and unknowingly go to work or school or other public spaces and spread the COVID-19 pandemic even further. Lastly, those with coronavirus have a more difficult time spreading saliva and air particles around if they are properly using their face mask. If worn properly, a face mask can and will reduce the amount of contact between your hands and your face and mouth. Let's hear what the experts have to say. First off, we have a short video clip from the AACC president, Dr. Carmen Wiley. Just a little background about Dr. Carmen Wiley, the president of the AACC, a global scientific and medical professional organization dedicated to better health through laboratory medicine. Dr. Wiley has a bachelor's degree in chemistry from the University of Minnesota, a master's degree in organic chemistry from the University of Washington, a doctoral degree in organic chemistry from the University of Washington, and was a COMAC accredited fellow at the Mayo School of Medicine. She is board certified by American Board of Clinical Chemistry and a fellow of the Academy of the American Association of Clinical Chemistry.
We've all seen advice from the CDC and other healthcare experts about wearing masks to slow the spread of COVID-19, but some people are still skeptical. Some of this confusion is due to the CDC's initial advice that only healthcare workers needed to wear masks. So why are we now saying everyone should wear a mask? First, it's important to note that part of protecting ourselves and others from COVID-19 is adapting to new information. The COVID-19 virus is not one that scientists have been able to study for many decades. As a result, we as a society are learning from scientists who are studying the virus in real time. When it comes to masks, the benefits have become increasingly clear, not so much to protect ourselves, but to proactively protect those around us. Scientists now know that people can spread the coronavirus before they have symptoms. That means none of us should assume we can't infect someone else just because we don't feel sick. We also know that the virus primarily stays in a person's lungs and throat. So the main way people pass along infections is from their mouth and nose, similar to other respiratory infections. Of course, an individual particle is very, very small, certainly small enough to pass through cloth. But the coronavirus almost never travels alone. COVID-19 mainly spreads by hitchhiking along with moisture that comes out of our mouths and noses. This can be an obvious thing, like when we cough or sneeze. A less obvious way is when we're talking and breathing. Even in these cases, our lungs are pumping out very small droplets of moisture that might contain virus. And we know that cloth masks work to capture these droplets. That's why experts are now confident in recommending that people wear a mask. Unlike the special N95 masks healthcare workers use around patients or in the laboratory, a cloth mask can be used repeatedly to catch these droplets from our mouths, even if it's homemade and even if you have to reuse it before cleaning it. We can use our knowledge of how the virus spreads to stop it. But we need everyone to work together for this strategy to work. Combined with social distancing, hand washing, and other measures, wearing a mask is a powerful tool to fight the virus.
There you have it. Dr. Wiley speaks very clearly about how the virus can be spread even before you begin to feel symptoms. Therefore, it is vital that we all use a face mask to protect ourselves, whether we think we have the coronavirus or not. Now let's take a look at the other side. Let's see what those who are opposed to wearing a face mask have to say.
Healthy people are being warned against using face masks to protect themselves against the virus. As Justine Conway explains, experts fear incorrect use could lead to more infection.
It's becoming commonplace. On the streets and in supermarkets, people are increasingly wearing face masks, just as a precaution.
Wearing masks like that is wasting a mask. That's a mask that won't be available when it's actually needed.
The state government's advice on wearing face masks is in line with the World Health Organization. Under its guidelines, masks should only be worn if you have a cough, fever and difficulty breathing, or if you are healthy and taking care of someone with these symptoms, and or someone with a confirmed case of COVID-19.
If you do not have these symptoms, you do not have to wear masks, because there is no evidence that they protect people who are not sick.
If you must wear one, a regular surgical mask is best. They're intended for single use only. Masks with respirators, also known as N95 surgical masks, should be reserved for healthcare workers. Nationwide, there's a shortage, and only one manufacturing plant in Australia makes them. This is Medcon in Shepparton. It's gone from producing 2 million masks a year to almost 2 million a week, exclusively for those frontline workers. When you look at some of the masks people are wearing, you can see there is a huge range of products out there. And while they may offer some sense of security, experts warn, if you wear a mask the wrong way, it could actually make you sick.
When I've been walking about, I've been seeing people touching the front of the masks, adjusting the masks on their face, and then going and touching other things. What we've got to remember is that front of the mask may be picking up different pathogens.
And the same goes for gloves.
What they also will stop is you actually washing your hands.
Justine Conway, 9 News.
There you have it. In conclusion, I hope that I've given you enough information to make an informed decision on your own behalf. I would lastly like to read the actual recommended way to remove your face covering as instructed by the CDC. Step 1 is to always clean your hands with soap and water or hand sanitizer before touching the mask. 2, remove a mask from the box and make sure there are no obvious tears or holes in either side of the mask. 3, determine which side of the mask is the top. The side of the mask that has a stiff, bendable edge is the top and is meant to mold to the shape of your nose. 4, determine which side of the mask is the front. The colored side of the mask is usually the front and should face away from you, while the white side touches your face. 5. Follow the instructions for each type of mask that you are using. For face masks with ear loops, hold the mask only by the ear loops. Place a loop around each ear. Avoid touching the face. For masks with ties, bring the mask to your nose level and place the ties over the crown of your head and secure with a bow. For masks with bands, hold the mask in your hand with the nose piece or top of the mask at fingertips. Allow the headband to hang freely below hand. Bring the mask to your nose level and pull the top strap over your head so that it rests over the crown of your head. Pull the bottom strap over your head so that it rests at the neck. 6. Mold or pinch the stiff edge to the shape of your nose. And 7. If using a face mask with ties, take the bottom ties, one in each hand, and secure with a bow at the nape of your neck. 8. Pull the bottom of the mask over your mouth and chin. Now for the CDC's instructions on how to properly remove a face mask. 1. Clean your hands with soap and water or hand sanitizer before touching the mask. Avoid touching the front of the mask. The front of the mask is contaminated. Only touch the ear loops or ties or band. Follow the instructions below for the type of mask you are using. Face mask with ear loops. Hold both of the ear loops and gently lift and remove the mask. Face mask with ties. Untie the bottom bow first. Then untie the top bow and pull the mask away from you as the ties are loosened. 4th, face mask with bands. Lift the bottom strap over your head first, then pull the top strap over your head. And 5, throw the mask in the trash. Clean your hands with soap and water or hand sanitizer. In conclusion, CDC has statistically proven that using a face covering or a face mask will reduce the transmission of the COVID-19 pandemic through asymptomatic users. Sure to wash your hands, use hand sanitizer, and always remember to social distance. Thank you for listening, and have a good rest of your day.